morning Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
More than 2,000 people missing in the Bahamas in the wake of Hurricane Dorian. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Wednesday, September 11th. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Dawn Paris. Good evening. While the death toll in the Bahamas on the heels of Hurricane Dorian stands at least 50, authorities are reporting that another 2,500 people have been reported missing since the Category 5 storm slammed into the Bahamas last week and caused widespread damage on the islands of Abaco and Grand Bahama. National Emergency Management Agency spokesman Carl Smith made the revelation on Wednesday. But he did point out that the names on the missing persons list are yet to be checked against people who sought shelter or evacuated. And he said he expects the list to shrink as checks are made. In the meantime, Smith said the government is facilitating evacuees who are able to contact their family directly. More than 2,000 people are being housed in shelters across New Providence.
The database processing is underway. Some individuals who evacuated from Abaco and Grand Bahama have not yet registered with social services. We encourage them to do so at the Department of Rehabilitative and Welfare Services. Some of the government's list will have to be converted into a digital format to allow for more effective cross-checking. As we are able to cross-reference our data sets, we will be able to inform family members and reunite survivors with loved ones.
Caribbean American Democratic Congresswoman Yvette Clarke has introduced legislation aimed at providing temporary protected status TPS in the United States for Bahamians impacted by Hurricane Dorian. Clarke, the daughter of Jamaican immigrants, introduced the measure late Tuesday along with fellow Caribbean Caucus co-chair Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett and Congresswoman Barbara Lee. TPS is a temporary immigration status provided to nationals of specifically designated countries that are confronting an ongoing armed conflict, environmental disaster, or extraordinary and temporary conditions. It also provides a work permit and stay of deportation to foreign nationals from those countries who are in the United States at the time that the U.S. government makes the designation. Meanwhile, the Bahamian Immigration Minister Ellsworth Johnson is making it clear that undocumented migrants impacted by the hurricane are not to be apprehended. Earlier this week, the government announced a suspension of the crackdown on illegal immigrants as a result of the storm. He said that was in keeping with international practices. We get more in this report from Eyewitness News.
Johnson has gone as far as to suggest that if any survivor is approached in a questionable manner, they should report it.
Anybody comes and raise, or you even think they have the intention to raise the issue of someone's immigration status, call me directly, and I have strict instructions from the Prime Minister to deal with that post-haste.
The Immigration Minister, however, did go on record addressing rumors that the Bahamas would offer asylum to those without status.
At this time, there's been no instructions given to me by the Most Honorable Prime Minister and his cabinet that any asylum will be given to anybody. We know that there are a number of persons who ought not be here. And then for those unaffected areas, no, that we will be out there. I've said to the immigration director, I have a serious concern that when sometimes we do these enforcement measures, that nobody is being arrested for harboring. I wanted to say to the Bahamian public, I don't want anybody to be calling me. If you're found harboring anybody, that will assist us greatly. The $6,000 you'd have to pay.
Minister Senator Dion Folks, who heads up the government's Shantytown Action Task Force, is reinforcing that many of the residents in these communities are not illegal.
There is a view out there that the majority of the persons living in the mud and pitch and pee were undocumented. That is not true. You can refer to the surveys that we release publicly. Over 80% of the residents living in the Shanty Downs and Abaco had some type of legal status.
Staying in the Bahamas, the oil spill on the eastern end of Grand Bahama that is being blamed on Hurricane Dorian has now spread to the other hurricane-hit island, Abaco. That confirmation from government officials who say an investigation is underway. We get more in this report.
The Ministry of the Environment has referred the oil spill matter at the Equinor facility in Grand Bahama following Hurricane Dorian over to the Attorney General's office for determination. This according to Environment Minister Romal Ferreira.
Yes, we have referred that matter directly to the Office of the Attorney General to look into liability and culpability. But at this stage, what we're looking at is responding to it adequately and appropriately so that we can contain any sort of environmental impact to the immediate environs where this is situated.
Now, the Bahamas National Trust and other environmental watchdogs have already expressed concern that the oil spill could have long-term negative implications. Attorney General Carl Bethel says this issue is top priority. He expressed concern that the cleanup effort has taken too long.
We regret that there's been delay, which we didn't think ought to have happened, but now that they are active, they need to get the spill cleaned up. We understand it is extended beyond Grand Bahama and is moved over towards the Abacos. So they must use all necessary means to clean up this environmental disaster.
Ferreira reiterated that the preservation of human life remains priority.
We're not assigning blame. We are responding to the spill. I mean, obviously, in the grand scheme of things, human lives are much more important. Hurricane Dorian has impacted many, many Bahamian families. But obviously protecting our environment is still an important issue.
Equinor has reportedly dispatched a team from Louisiana to tackle the oil spill and has also outsourced material from Buckeye, another oil refinery on the island. The spill has also reignited concerns from environmentalists on government's plan to establish another oil refinery in Grand Bahama, Oban, which also received significant backlash.
Facilities are supposed to be designed to withstand these kinds of incidents. I don't know the full details. I don't have a report as to how it happened. I don't have an incident report as to, well, the internally generated report from Equinor, which would determine what happened. So we're always concerned about protecting our environment. That's always front and center.
So far, NEMO officials have reported that there has been no impact on the environment. However, without the proper studies, environmentalists continue to question their response.
Well, the intensity of the ongoing hurricane season has forced the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court to change its schedule for the opening of the new law year. We get the details in this GBN News report.
Traditionally, the new law year opens during the third week in September. Then simultaneous special sittings are held across the 8 member states and territories of the OECS. However, according to Legal Affairs Minister Kendra Mathurin Stewart, as a result of the intensity of the hurricane season, the annual sitting will now be held in January.
It usually takes place at the end of September after the court is on vacation. So presently, the court is on vacation. However, a decision was taken by the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court to change the date of that special sitting to mark the official opening to a date in January now of every year, which would be, of course, after the close of the hurricane season. And this was due to the fact that the court felt that due to the intensity and the increased numbers of storms that usually affects the court's inability to plan and execute the opening ceremony and the activities in September, they have now moved that date on to January. So consequently, the next opening of the law term will therefore take place on the 13th of January 2020, and that will be done in Antigua and Barbuda.
Still to come in Caribbean Newsline, discussion to be held on a proposal to hold elections in Guyana next March. Stay with us.
When we were building in 1984, we decided to get the solar water heater.
We use it up to this morning.
From my home, we get rain 2 days and we still get hot water.
I've had it for 30 years and I have no problem with it up to this day.
All I can say is that anyone who wishes to have a system, try Solar Dynamics.
Solar Dynamics water heater systems are now right through the Caribbean.
Helen, let's start off by asking you, how did we get here?
Well, the crisis in Yemen itself, I think, was coming, and the disintegration of the state and the civil war was coming as a result of the way the 2011 crisis was addressed.
After an emergency, you can help yourself and others by looking, listening, and linking.
Looking because you want to see if the person has some signs that is in distressing. Looking for the symptoms, how best you can support the person. And then listening, because listening is very important. Listening with your ears, listening with your eyes. If you do that well, then you'll be able to link them to the appropriate resources.
Be ready, look, listen, and link.
The Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM, will hold another round of talks on Thursday to discuss a proposal that the election mandated by the Caribbean Court of Justice be held in March next year. At a meeting on Tuesday, opposition leader Bart Jagdeo said his People's Progressive Party would not support that as it wants elections before the end of this year. More in this report from Newsroom Guyana.
As it relates to the March 2020 timeline for elections, which was proposed by the Secretariat of GECOM, the opposition leader made it clear that the elections can be held before the end of 2019.
This March is totally out the window. We're looking for elections before the end of the year.
Meanwhile, at the end of GECOM's statutory meeting Tuesday, government-nominated Commissioner Vincent Alexander was questioned on a possible review of the March 2020 timeline for elections.
No room for any amendment in terms of the...
In the secretaries, the questions of secretaries timeline.
Yes, so the commission could propose a review of those timelines?
It could be reviewed, who knows?
Will you support a review?
What is that?
Will you support a review?
I will support a review. I'll participate in the discussion.
GECOM has already commenced training of polling day staff and procurement of elections day materials.
A UK investment bank explores opportunities in Guyana, a Chinese-owned alumina plant in Jamaica to close, and job losses in Bermuda and the Cayman Islands as Butterfield Bank restructures. Marie-Claire Williams has the details of those stories in this week's Newsline Business.
UK investment bank Hannam & Partners is eyeing opportunities in Guyana. It is now looking to partner with another company to set up a $100 million Guyana onshore fund. The discussions on the proposed fund were held during the recent SPE Offshore Europe conference and exhibition in Scotland. It was attended by the Guyana Office for Investment, the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and other private sector companies.
That chamber holds a number of businesses who sell products and services into the oil industry and are interested in exporting those products and services to the Guyanese market. Now, in Guyana, clearly we are going to need to set up a supply chain that can provide those products and services, and of course one of the fastest ways for us to be able to do that is through joint ventures and partnerships with companies who have existing technology and who have existing know-how.
The Jamaica government will cease operations at the Chinese-owned alumina plant Gisco Olpart. The company recently laid off 400 workers. Mining Minister Robert Montague told Parliament on Tuesday the current plant is old and energy intensive, and the company would now focus on modernizing operations.
This decision was arrived at after considering various factors, which include but not limited to worker safety and welfare, the regularity with which segments of the plants fail to properly function, and in cases stop functioning, puts the workers' safety at risk, and the company is also at risk. High cost of production and high levels of waste. To continue producing alumina at over $480 per ton was unviable. The prevailing low and falling price of alumina on the world market. Mr. Speaker, between 2016 and 2019, the price of alumina fell from approximately $500 per ton.
Montague also noted the mining sector is a significant contributor to Jamaica's economy.
I can tell you that mining, colleague, accounts for 50% of the growth figures. It is the third largest foreign exchange earner, and it employs some 5,000 persons directly in high-paying jobs, and indirectly some 25,000 Jamaicans depend upon it.
The Bermuda-based Butterfield Bank is cutting 22 jobs at its local operations and in the Cayman Islands as part of a restructuring exercise. The jobs will be moved to the company's Support Services Center in Canada and will affect workers in the bank's card fraud department, the middle office area, and call center. This is the second round of job cuts at Butterfield this year. In April, 11 people were made redundant and more than 30 accepted early retirement packages. Antigua's Prime Minister Gaston Brown says the island is now in a better position to negotiate the sale of its Scotiabank branch. This after the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank approved the application for the transfer of assets and liabilities of Scotiabank to Republic Financial Holdings Limited in Antigua and several other Caribbean countries. Republic announced its intention to acquire operations in those countries last November. Mary-Claire Williams, Newsline Business.
Ahead in Newsline Sport, St. Kitts Nevis Patriots overhaul the biggest total in the CPL to beat the Jamaica Tallawahs. We'll be right back.
As a small business owner, you have to make sure your technology is available and operational at all times. But what happens when your network crashes, your email goes down, or your user systems get a virus? You may try to fix the issue yourself, but you can end up making the problem a lot worse. At Digital Networking Solutions, we're more than just people who try to fix your computers. We monitor, maintain, and support your IT systems so that you can focus on growing your business to its fullest potential. When you sign up for one of our IT support plans, we get familiar with your IT environment beforehand, so we can manage it proactively as if it were our own. Your business deserves the best IT services available to ensure it functions to its maximum efficiency. So give us a try today. Email or call us, and we will give you a free network assessment to determine whether now is the time for your small business to adopt Digital Networking Solutions for a smoother, more reliable network experience.
Drop.
It was an evening of hero CPL maximums as St. Kitts Nevis Patriots overhauled the tournament's highest total of 241 for 4 set by the Jamaica Tallawahs at Warner Park on Tuesday. The game equaled the record for the most number of sixes, 37 to be exact, in a T20 tournament. Chris Gill led the charge for the Tallawahs with his 22nd T20 ton, which included 10 massive sixes and 7 fours. He was ably assisted by Chadwick Walton, who smashed a 36 ball 73, while Andre Russell chipped in with 15. Left arm spinner Fabian Allen and medium pacer Alzari Joseph picked up 2 wickets each.
Yeah, good length, good straight up in the air. It was wide as well. We've been talking about that length and line. First delivery up, gets the prize wicket of the big man, the century maker, Christopher Henry Gale. That's gone all the way. Has the distance, yeah. The umpire's hands will go up in the air. Goes way up into the sky. Fielder gets under it. Should be taken, yeah. Another wicket for Fabian Allen. A little too late at this time.
He goes for 15, 234 for 4.
One delivery to close the innings. Goes high, goes long, and they will end with a hero maximum. Add 6 to that total. It's 241. The Tallawahs close on.
But half-centuries from Devon Thomas and Evan Lewis were instrumental in the Patriots getting over the line with 4 wickets to spare. Let's take a look at the final moments of the Patriots' runs chase.
Oh, that is delightful. Key moment at the dead stages of match 7. 27 though off 15. It's 2-2-7 for 6. Up, and boom! It has gone all the way.
Hero maximum. Look how cool and calm Fabian Allen is in this situation.
Take my breath away with this one. And there we go with the top edge. Racing away. That's it. Is it? Is it about? I think it is. Alumbrado celebration and partying. We've gone crazy up here in the box as well. What a victory.
Staying with cricket, analysts are having their say in the recent announcement of Trinidadian Kieron Pollard as captain of the West Indies ODI and T20 squads. Regional commentator Fazir Mohammed and Trinidad-based commentator Colin Murray both believe it's a step in the right direction. TV6's Vinod Narwani tells us more.
Kieron Pollard has been made captain of the West Indies T20 and ODI teams. There are those who would have their views on it, from fans to players, and of course the analysts. As such, here are views of a couple commentators, starting with Colin Murray, who believes it is a positive move. Murray says, quote, after the 50-over World Cup had ended, they should have made Kieron Pollard the white ball captain because the team needed the experience in the middle order in terms of the batting. They also needed an aggressive type of leader, which Pollard definitely is. I have absolutely no problem with it, and I congratulate Cricket West Indies for taking the bold step on making Pollard the white ball captain, unquote. And does he want Carlos Brathwaite to still be a part of the West Indies T20 side despite being stripped of the captaincy? Murray says, quote, a straight answer would be no. However, I would like to see how Carlos Brathwaite performs during the course of the CPL, which will determine whether he should be retained on the team. Therefore, I would prefer to reserve my comment until the CPL is over, as it provides a fair chance to see if his performances warrant selection on the West Indies team, unquote. Regarding Jason Holder no longer being the ODI skipper, Murray says such a move is definitely going to benefit the all-rounder. He says, quote, "As a matter of fact, I am happy in a way that the burden of the ODI captaincy has been taken away from Jason Holder. It should help boost his performance as a player on the ODI team," unquote. Another cricket analyst, Fazir Mohammed, also welcomes the change because of the extended losing streaks in both formats under Holder and Brathwaite. Mohammed says, quote, "Pollard is the obvious choice if the intention is to consolidate leadership in the white ball formats. Of course, that doesn't mean he can automatically translate the success he has enjoyed as a franchise player to the regional team. His mediocre numbers in the ODIs and the fact that he hasn't played a one-dayer for almost 3 years means he will be under the microscope in that format, both for his leadership skills and individual performances," unquote. Mohammed says Pollard has what it takes to fit into the new leadership role because of his tactical awareness and aggressive and innovative captaincy, as has been seen in the CPL over the years, along with his IPL experience.
And that's the sport. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
When we were building in 1984, we decided to get the solar water heater.
We use it up to this morning. From my home, we get rain 2 days and we still get hot water.
I've had it for 30 years and I have no problems with it up to this day.
All I can say is that anyone who wishes to have a system, try solar dynamic.
Solar dynamics, water heater systems are now right through the Caribbean.
A recap of the day's major developments now. About 2,500 people registered missing in the Bahamas in the wake of Hurricane Dorian. And in sport, St. Kitts Nevis Patriots overhaul the CPL's highest total to beat the Jamaica Tallawahs. And that's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sport around the clock, subscribe to CanadaNews.com. For more of our programming, log on to CaribVision.tv and check out our YouTube channel. We'll be back here again tomorrow, but from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching and have yourselves a good night. I have no